Morning, everybody. I got my coffee. I just wanted to share with you one of the very first things that I did when I bought this property. I came down to the shoreline here and I set up a lawn chair early in the morning, my phone in my hand, and watched the clock as I waited for the sun to rise. It's beautiful up here. I love this place. Feels like home. And that's what I'm trying to do with this cabin build. So welcome back to the channel. I'm here for another weekend. I'm going to try to get the roof on. I'm on vacation next week, so I'm not going to be here for 2 weekends in a row. I'm going down to southern Ontario with my family. Oh, the Blue Jays are excited this morning. I'm excited this morning. I hope you're excited this morning. Let's get her done, everybody. Have a great day. Have a great week. Please like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you real soon. Enjoy. So guys, these are my 2x12s by 16 foot. This is what I got for doing the rafters. I need to have I mentioned in another video that I was gonna do a 512 pitch roof, but just to give me a little more height on the short side of the story and a half, I decided to do a 412. So the reason why I went with a 2x12, I don't need it to go the span, it's like 13'9" or something like that. But the reason why I went with a 2x12 was so that I can have the depth for the insulation and still give me a space at the top to allow for a cold roof. I'll put more vents on the underside of the plywood to allow air to travel up the roof through the section that's going to be slanted. So I would say, well, I'm 119 inches, so that's pretty close to 10 feet at the tip of the beam that I have going across the long wall. And then well, I got an 1.75" seat on my bird's mouth that I'm going to put bird's mouths at the top and the bottom. So that leaves me with 10 more inches. So almost 11 feet tall will be from the floor to the top of the rafter. So I'm going to drop the roof down. So it'll go straight up the wall, and then I'll go slant roof for a ways till I get till about 8 feet. Maybe I'll probably copy the same height that I ended up with in the bottom floor. I think it's 8'3". And so at 8'3", then I'm going to go straight 2x4s. Hopefully I'm going to go straight 2x4s over to the wall. I'm not sure how that's going to land on the beam in the top plate of the 2x6 wall I built there. But if I got to be a little lower, that's fine too. I'll still be like 7'10" or something like that. Because I imagine that I'm going to have to set the 2x4 that I'm going to put on the level. It'll be the ceiling, the flat ceiling part of the second floor. I'll have to attach those to the rafters. Perhaps by letting in a batten board into the rafter so that can sit on it. It's not carrying any load except for the weight of the drywall or whatever I decide to use for a roofing material, but that's the plan. That's what it's going to look like. So I wanted to have a 12 or 412 roof, but I built the building like 43.5 inches, so I got all lost in trigonometry trying to calculate where all my angles and everything needed to be. So through a combination of using an online calculator for trig and a right angle triangle and another website that I used to calculate rafter dimensions, I was able to come up with locations for the bird's mouths, the angles that I needed to have for the tails at both ends, and everything works out. I'll have a 18-inch overhang on the low side and a 12-inch overhang on the roughly 12-inch overhang on the top side. Excuse me, which will be fantastic. So I'll start getting those cut now, and I'll show you the layout as I go along. So guys, just like when you build with any wood, you need to find your crown. The crown is on this side, so I want this to be the top of the rafter. So for me to get the appropriate tail angle, I figured in my calculations that I need 9 3/16 or 3 9/16. So I'll just check the square on this end, make sure that I'm happy with it, and I am. Look for any staples or nails in the end of the wood so you don't cut those and screw up your saw. 3 9/16, 2 4 6 8 9, and then I'll transfer that mark right down the side of the wood. So I can look down it. And then I can look down it, hold this on in that, and put the other end on the corner of the wood. So I'm using the maximum amount of lumber. And that's what's going to be my angle for the end of the rafter. So super easy to get this screwed up. If I want this to be at the top, I need my angle to go the other way. Now, the seat of my hip goes at 1 foot 6 7/8. So I'll measure up 1 foot 6 7/8 from here along the top. And then I gotta take 3/16 off of that. So I can repeat that angle that I made up there. So this mark here is the top mark. And this 3/16 off is the bottom. And that's actually where I want to make the seat. So I connect these two lines. And that actually becomes the line of my seat. And then my seat is gonna be, I'm screwing this up again. I want this to be the top. Oh, electrical carpentry. This is going to be at the top. So this first line was my correct line. That means these are backwards. Once I get one made, I can use it as a template for the rest of them. I couldn't have put my numbers in a more perfect location. I'm going to end up cutting them off. Okay, so this is the top. What the hell? I might need another coffee this morning. Yeah, this is the top. Oh. 3 steps and I'm already screwed up. This is the top. What the hell am I doing here? This has got to be the top for this to sit here like this. It becomes super hard to explain something to somebody when you have no idea what you're doing, doesn't it? Man, that just don't feel right. What am I doing wrong here? I'm trying to build it upside down. Oh, that's what I'm doing wrong. This is the line. So I do that. That goes this way. 1 3/4 and 5 1/2. Where's my 5 1/2? Right there. So this sits on the top of the wall. This is the seat. This is the top of the rafter. Okay. So why did I do 5 1/2 inches here? Well, picture your wall and you got 5 1/2 inches 5.5 inch wall, and then your exterior sheeting is 1/2 inch. So you got 6 inches here. But when you take this wall and you put a rafter on it, if you have your rafter come down from here, from right at the tip of that corner, then whatever material you put onto this wall is going, on this roof, is going to give you a very acute angle here, and you're going to be down into the wall and lower the height of your ceiling. So I went 5.5 inches, but 5.5 inches from here. So that's actually 5 inches into this 2x6, and that leaves me this space here, which allows me to butt my roofing material into the wall a little bit, and then the material that I'm going to finish the inside of the building with can come up to that. So then coming down here, well, this distance here is like 11 and 21/30 seconds or something like that. I don't want to have a fascia board that's going to be that big. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to cut this at 5.5 inches so that I take off this whole section of lumber here. Probably can't see this pencil on this wood. So I've taken off all this here, which will change the depth of my tail. It won't affect the distance that I have away for an eave, but it'll give me the ability to use a 2x6 for a fascia board. And then my venting to allow air up into the roof can be anywhere in this space. It's going to be fine. So what I'll probably do, that's the wall, this is the bottom of the fascia. What I'll probably do is, so this will be my rafter bottom. Onto the edge of my rafter bottom here, I'll install some screen, and then whatever I use for a fascia material, I'll just put it an inch or 2 inches back from the tip. And then this fascia board that I put here will incorporate a bit of a drip edge because it'll be lower than the height of the tail of the rafter. And then this gap here with the screen in between every rafter is what's going to allow the air to come in and go up into the moor vents that I put on the top of the sheeting. Hopefully that makes sense. Sorry, there's so many lines on here and I got all confused. It's 6 in the morning, so 6? No, 7 now, because we did the sunrise shot. Okay, so now I need to be 13 3/8. I'm going to have to look at my phone again. I think it's 13 3/8 from here is where that's the length of the top of the rafter from the seat. And that is where I'll make the seat for the top. (13 3/8 of an inch). (13 3/8). I held it 2 inches down there. That'll give me 13 3 3/8, and then 3 9/16 back from there. inch and 3/4 seat, 5.5, whatever you call that. So there's my cut for the top. And then 3/16 back. Which is 5/16 because I'm holding it 2. Now this is the top of the rafter. So now you can see between these two lines here, if I hold on a foot, I have like 12 inch or 13 inch 1/8. So I'll have just over a 12 inch overhang at the top. So eventually what I'm going to do is this is where the beam is. When I build the other half of a building, I build a double beam, so 1.5 and 1.5. There's going to be the beam there-ish. This will be the center of my ridge board. So eventually, when I build the other half, I'll cut this off, which will be a pain, but it can be done. And then the other rafter will come up and sit here up against this one, and that'll be the peak. This will become the peak of the roof down the road when I build the other half of the building. So I don't know if that made any sense, or I screwed it up so bad in my not enough caffeinated state. But anyway, it's all good. It's only another $53 for another 2x12x16. So in my other video I told you I'd show you my free door. So here it is. You see the seam right here in the casing? I had to scab this piece of plywood on the side of it because it broke right there. So you can see some of the missing wood down here at the bottom. The door had been sitting out in the weather and that. Anyway, I scabbed this on. That's why I made my opening a little wider. The door was free, so I can't complain, but it's not bad. It's got a side light. Needs a paint job. It's got a light, a window in the door, a little window. Anyway, this is the door. I said I would show it to you, and I never did. So it needs a paint job, but that can be dressed up and used. Probably use some new weather stripping. I can see that. See if I can get it. There. See the light coming through? Obviously needs some new weather stripping, but it'll be fine. These are like $1,000, so great. Can't balk at that.